Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. In this episode, we're previewing the Test series between India and New Zealand. The first Test match is in Kanpur, and a lot of players missing in this series. For India, Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. These guys are going to be missing the first Test match. KL Rahul has also gone down due to injury, and he will be missing the first Test match in Kanpur and the second as well. Kohli will probably come back for the second Test match. If you look at New Zealand side of things, Colin de Grandhomme and Trent Bolt are unavailable. And also Conway's got injured as well. So quite a few players missing. I think New Zealand still have their core. They have Williamson and Taylor. They have Latham there. You have Sadi, Jamieson, Wagner. Wagner's a test specialist. So New Zealand still have a core. India, we know under Ajinkya Rahane do well, even if the top players are not there, like we saw in Australia. Rahane leading a young side to a Test series victory, winning 2 games, and that historic game at the Gabba as well. So I don't think it's too much of a worry for Rahane, especially in these conditions. He still has the likes of Akshar Patel, Ashwin, and Jadeja to get him those wickets, put New Zealand under pressure. And I think that's the key battle. The key battle will be between Ross Taylor and Williamson, the middle order, and India's three spinners. On top of that, if Latham can give them a start and he can build partnerships as well, that will give New Zealand a good platform to lay on. And I think the New Zealand bowlers can actually put in the Indian batsmen under pressure, because if you look at India, they'll probably open up with Shubman Gill and Mayank Agarwal. Those will be the opening batsmen. Then you have Pujara, who's not been in the greatest of form, but this is the time for him to shine. Rahane as well. He's the captain, but his performances, apart from that Melbourne 100, has not been that great. So there is pressure on that Indian middle order. Then you have Shreyas Iyer, who is going to make his debut, is going to be playing, for sure in that 11 because Rahul is missing. So that puts a lot of pressure on the likes of Iyer. Then you have Ridhaman Saha, who's not brilliant with the bat, but I think in home conditions he will be very effective with the bat. So it does put pressure on the middle order. You have Jadeja, Akshar Patel as well, who can contribute, and Ashwin with the bat. So New Zealand still have the work to do, but I think they can put this Indian batting order under pressure with the bowling. The composition they go with will be interesting. Will they go with the three spinners? Somerville has a very good case, but I would probably go with Ajaz Patel. I'll go with Santner as well. I think these two will definitely, cause some issues. Sandner, we've seen when the ball is turning, he can be a handful. And Ajaz Patel as well. He's bowled well in New Zealand. I think these conditions will be more favorable. Now, if they want to go with an extra spinner, then they'll have to sit out an extra fast bowler, which maybe Sadi, give him a break and go with Jamieson and Wagner, just raw pace, reverse swing it a bit. And but that's a big call because Sadi is very experienced. You might have to drop Jamieson. I would, stick to strengths if I'm New Zealand, go two spinners. But of course, you have to read the conditions. You have to see these are the options. They go with the three spinners or they go with the extra pacer. And the pacer you drop it, that's going to be a key decision if you go with that. So that's the situation that New Zealand are in, especially with the bowling. The batting kind of picks themselves. Again, the opening slot is between Will Young and Ravindra. I would go with Ravindra. I just feel that he can play spin well, but you can go with Will Young as well, no issues. And then, Tom Latham, they're opening the batting. Williamson, Ross Taylor, Henry Nichols, and Tom Blundell. It's a good batting lineup. Blundell, good wicket-keeping batsman. He can score the runs, play spin well as well. So I think he can do a decent job. Latham also plays spin well. So this New Zealand team, it's not going to be easy for India to turn over, especially they're missing their big players. It's not going to be an easy challenge, but I think India go slight favorites in this test match, even though they're playing the world test champions in New Zealand. And this New Zealand team, whatever the conditions are, they look to adapt. And I think they do play spin well in general. They do have a few spinners of their own, which can cause problems. If the wicket starts turning a lot from day one, day two, then it doesn't matter who you are, you will get purchased. Whether you're a Santner or a Jadeja, you will get purchased. And that's something that New Zealand should take in their stride and look at as a positive. They shouldn't worry if it's a spinning track, because they do have spinners, and India will have to bat on the same track and a bit more inexperienced. There's no Virat Kohli there. There's no Rohit Sharma to steady the ship. They have two young openers, and Rahane and Pujara are not in form. So that's something New Zealand will look to attack, and they should take it in their stride. Players to watch out for from India side of things. There's plenty of talk with Rahane, the captain. He has to perform as the bat as well, and I think he's the main guy. I would like to see him bat at 4. Normally he does bat at 5, but I would like him to see him bat at 4, take that back to the opposition like he did in Australia, and really build an innings and score those big hundreds. So Rahane is the batsman to watch out for me in this test match. With the ball, Again, there's plenty of options. Akshar Patel and Jadeja together is going to be an outstanding combination. But I'm going to go with Ashwin. I think Ashwin, again, he's been a great for India, especially in these conditions. He's been a legend. I think overseas, recently, his performances have been really good as well. He's matured as a bowler and very difficult to play when the ball starts turning, and very smart bowler. So Ashwin is my bowler to watch out for. From New Zealand side of things, with the bat, you don't want to go past Kane Williamson, but I'm going to look at Ross Taylor. I think Ross Taylor is someone who can take the pressure off Williamson. He has the experience himself. He's played matches all over the world over the last 10, 15 years. And he is someone that I'm going to look to, I think, in this test series, who can really take that mantle on, put pressure on Ashwin, Jadeja, and Akshar Patel, hold one end up, and the runs can flow from the other end. Ross Taylor is that guy, I think, who can absorb the pressure. And in these conditions, New Zealand have to realize that sometimes you don't need to pad time. Sometimes you need to score the runs quickly and just get those runs flowing and put the pressure on India. So Ross Taylor is one guy I'm going to look out for with the bat. With the ball, there's plenty of options there. Neil Wagner in these conditions. Let's see how it was going to be interesting. Can he get the ball to reverse swing? I'm going to look at Ajaz Patel, the spinner. He's done well in New Zealand conditions. These conditions will be more helpful for him. Will he enjoy these conditions? Sometimes you look at these kind of pitches and you get so excited, like, man, this is a paradise for spinner, but then you don't get that necessary purchase because you get carried away. You try different things, and sometimes you just have to keep it simple. You just have to bowl that line in length, and that's what Ajaz Patel needs to do. And I think for me, he's the player to watch out for. It's going to be a great contest, hopefully. With players missing from both sides, there will be some weaknesses there. This Indian side in these conditions, I think their bowling attack tips New Zealand's. That's why I'm favoring them in this series. But it's going to be a tight series. I don't see a draw, so it'll be either 1-1 or 2-0 for either side. And I'm right now tending towards India, but if you get like a decent pitch of New Zealand win the toss, if it's a flat track and then starts to wear, then New Zealand have a good chance of winning the game as well. And it could be a 1-1 series, or New Zealand can take the series as well. Remember, they're test champions. But I'm just gonna lean for India right now to win this series. And it's gonna be some fun. Hopefully, we get to see some quality cricket. And make sure you like and subscribe. We'll get you the latest from this test series and cricket news all around the world. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe. And take care. Enjoy this series.